We might as well get started, and I'll continue to monitor folks in the waiting room. Good afternoon. My name is Nathaniel. I am Community Impact Director here at Center Foundation, and I'm mostly just here along for the ride because our Grants and Scholarships Coordinator, Krista, has put all the work in preparing this for us today. But we are here excited to share with you the opportunities for granting through Center Foundation and specifically dive in a little bit more about Center Inspires, which we intend to do relatively soon in the presentation. So if anyone has a time crunch and that's why you're here, we'll try to address that first. With that, I'd like to hand things over to Krista, and she'll go over our agenda for today in a little more detail.
Sure. Hi, thanks. Thanks for joining us today. So we're going to be talking about our Center Foundation's 2026 grant opportunities for nonprofits. So the agenda today is we're going to go over grantee eligibility, how to access the grant portal, you'll fill out your applications, the different grant opportunities that we provide, and other ways to partner with Center Foundation.
All right, we're a slide behind there.
Yeah.
I will mention too, if anyone has questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat. We will pause for questions and answers after Center Inspires as well as at the end of the presentation today. So you're welcome. Everyone has the ability to unmute themselves, make themselves visible if you wish. That's up to you. We want to make this as informal as we can.
Okay.
Yes, and we are making a recording. And I think we can also publish the slides. I'll follow up with an email later today with that information.
Okay. So let's see a little bit about Center Foundation. We are a community foundation serving Center County since 1981. It's actually our 45th anniversary this year, which is one of the reasons why we're relaunching Center Inspires. Our mission is to foster a culture of giving, support and empower nonprofits, and spark positive community change. And over $5 million is invested in our community annually through programs, scholarships, and grants. Here is a picture of our current team. So we're up to 10 now in the organization. For many of you that don't know, Molly Kunkel retired at the end, towards the end of last year. She had been our president and CEO. Had been here for about 20 years, but we were lucky enough to get Dave Lieb, who's been a wonderful addition to the foundation.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the grant eligibility and guidelines. For grantee eligibility, each program kind of has its own specific guidelines or requirements, but these are usually requirements for most of our opportunities. You must be classified as a 501c3 public charity under the Internal Revenue Code. This doesn't apply for governmental agencies or public school districts. You must file the IRS Form 990 annually. You must register with the Pennsylvania Bureau of Charitable Organizations. This is the annual BCO 10. You must provide services directly to Center County. The funded programs must comply with our non-discrimination policy. And let's see. Our non-discrimination policy will not fund organizations or projects that unlawfully discriminate against participants in your program. You must be in good standing with previous Center Foundation grants. That means like all previous granting reports must be up to date in order to be eligible for any of our current grant opportunities. So if you have a final report that's due, we just need to make sure that that's been submitted. Okay. Things that we do not fund. We do not fund lobbying or political activities, sectarian religious activities. Churches and religious organizations are eligible to apply for grants if they have programs that serve the entire community, such as a food pantry or clothing drive. We don't reimbursed for expenses incurred before a grant is awarded. So any grant that is issued, those funds must be spent during the granting period. We do offer extensions if for some reason a project is not going to be finished on time. Certainly reach out to us and we can offer an extension on the grants. And we do not fund requests from individuals for things like rent or utility assistance. We try to refer those to local organizations that are better able to provide those types of services. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about the grant portal. So all of our competitive grants, an application must first be submitted in order to be eligible for the grant. You can find that through our website. So if you go to the website, I think it's a little different homepage now than what's currently showing here, but at the top you'll see grants. So if you just click on the grants page, the grants tab, it'll take you to grants for nonprofits. Once you click through there, you'll see the different current grants that Center Foundation has available. It'll list the dates, just a little blurb right there on that screen. When you click on the Learn More button, this will take you to more information about the particular granting opportunity, the timeline. You will see down to how to apply. There is a link right there to the application portal, which will take you to Foundant, which is our granting system that we use. So once you get to there, you're at the login screen. This is important if you think your organization already has an account set up. Please reach out to us. We can certainly add other members to the organization's page. We want to try and keep one organization open at a time, so that way everyone has access to the different grant history reports that are due. If you forgot your password, just click Forgot Your Password. It will send you a link to reset your password. So if you're creating a new account, there's just some information you need to fill out. Ask for the organization name, phone number, EIN number. This is another page here that if you put in your EIN number and it is already in the system, it will flag it. So if that happens, please reach out to us again and we can look to see where your organization is already entered and add you to that account. So once you create an account or log back in, you'll be able to see the grant portal where you can apply for grants, view your grant history and submit follow-ups. You can also preview the grant application so you don't have to begin right away. You can look the questions over. It automatically saves any information you put into the application, so you don't have to worry about not saving it and going back and having it not be there. You can also collaborate with your colleagues. If someone needs to enter in some of the finance questions and you're not sure what they are, they can actually have access to it too. Another option that we put out there to offer is to receive feedback on any of your applications. They must be submitted 2 weeks before the final deadline is due, but that's a good opportunity if you're not sure you've answered any of the questions correctly, or we can view to make sure if there might be files that need to be included to make sure that they're correct files. So that is usually 2 weeks before the application is due. So this is just a screenshot of what the dashboard would look like when you log into your account. If you have any past grants or any reports that are due, you'll see those on the left-hand side. You can look through your historical grants that you received on the right-hand side. When you want to apply for one of the new grants, there is an apply button up at the top. Just click on that and that will take you directly to the application. So once you're there, it'll give you a little blurb about what the grant is. You can view the questions, or when you're ready to apply, just click apply at the top and it'll take you right to the application and you can begin filling that out. Okay. So now we're going to go on to our current grants and community impact opportunities. And I'll turn it over to Nathaniel first here. Talk about Center Inspires.
Yeah, the moment I think many of you are waiting for. But yeah, we're very excited this year in celebration of our 45th anniversary to bring Center Inspires back into the fold of our offerings. Something that our board has identified as something they really want to see happen. And we're glad that we're now underway with that this year. So as many of you probably know, the opportunity to apply for that is currently open. We opened it on June 8th, and we will be closing the initial letter of intent phase on July 9th. So the letter of intent phase, we designed to be pretty low effort on your part. We really want to just collect as many great ideas as we can at this phase. So we encourage you to consider any partnerships you may want and start to pull together those ideas. There's not any extensive documentation we require. I think there's just 4 or 5 questions on the letter of intent, just some simple narratives and a basic budget at this point. As far as what organizations are eligible, we are inviting any 501c3 or governmental agency to apply, as well as unincorporated groups that are able to apply under a fiscal sponsor with some other eligible organization. I'm happy to answer any questions about that if anyone has any. In addition to that, like I said, we're just really looking for innovative projects that we think will improve Center County. And the sky's kind of the limit. The grant award will be $100,000, keeping with our tradition, to fund a successful proposal. So after this first letter of intent phase is made, I'm going to switch over to our timeline now to sort of walk you through what happens after that. Oh, no, I forgot. First, we'll talk a little bit about the projects that Center Inspires has funded in the past, starting in 2014 with the book benches that we still see all across Center County. That was a great project, and we actually just last year, I think, worked on a little project to spruce them up, so they're looking better than ever. So be on the lookout for those. The Food Centers project was an initiative that started in 2015 to develop food hubs across the county. I know that one of the entities that started that out in Penns Valley at Old Greg School is still operating. So that was a pretty good project. Centered Outdoors has been very successful. I think the lead applicant for that was Clearwater Conservancy, but a lot of great partners, and it seems to be really living its own life now as a great way for folks in Center County to get outdoors, to get active, and be in touch with the beautiful surroundings we live in. Good Day Cafe in 2017 received startup funds to get that going. I know I've probably met with several of you there. It's a popular meeting place for all us nonprofits, and it's just a wonderful testament to what Center Inspires can bring about. Similar to the Rivet, the makerspace associated with Discovery Space got funding in 2018 to get that started. I can speak personally that my son likes to go there quite a bit and use those resources, as do I. And then in 2019, before the pandemic sort of suspended the program as we redirected funds to Center Gives, we funded a phenomenal aquaponics project through Acres, which is really doing some amazing things as well. So those are the kinds of ideas that have been funded in the past. We don't want that to necessarily limit what you're picturing for your own organizations, but those are the kinds of things that our board at the time found worthwhile of investing. And now we'll move on to the timeline a little bit more so you understand what happens after the letter of intent phase. So that will close on July 9th. And then on the 20th, our grants committee will be gathering and reviewing those and inviting applicants to move on to sort of the round two. So if you're asked to move on to round two, you'll be hearing about that sometime after July 20th, relatively soon. And you'll have until September to pull together a more comprehensive proposal, which will include a full budget breakdown, how your partnerships are planned to be involved, and the real nitty gritty of how your proposal might come to pass. And then after that deadline closes in September, we will be moving on in October to select organizations to make presentations to our grants committee. So if you're invited to do that, you'll come into our offices here at Center Foundation, most likely, and prepare a presentation. We can give you some feedback, but generally speaking, that will be the next round. And then around about the middle of October is when we will notify finalists, who will then bring that same presentation plus any edits that you make to our full foundation board at our meeting that we have scheduled actually at the old Greg School in Spring Mills. So that'll be towards the end of October. And then the foundation board will deliberate and make an announcement at our annual holiday party in December. That's kind of the overall concept and what we've been talking about, but I will like to pause here for any questions that have come up. We did have one question in the chat already that I answered. Erica Quinn asked about new organizations that haven't yet received their 501c3. Generally, we do require that IRS determination letter to consider you eligible, but you should be able to start an application if you're expecting that letter soon. Did I get that more or less right, Krista? Mm-hmm. Yeah. If anyone has any specific questions about that, please let us know. Does anyone have any other questions for us about Center Inspires at this point? You're welcome to unmute yourself or type it into the chat.
Yeah, Nathaniel and Krista, I have a quick question. As you contemplate proposals and think about how you're going to evaluate, compare, and allow all of us to compete against one another, do you have any preconceived notion of parameters that are going to influence impact for the proposals? I mean, is there a theme around impact that's going to be more influential than not, or is it just wide open, make your statement about impact and let it stand on its own?
That's a very good question, Bill. I think that at this stage, because we're just bringing it back this year, our board's wish and Dave's wish is that we just invite all ideas at this point. We really want the best and brightest ideas. That said, our strategic plan for Center Foundation has certain areas that may help you answer some of that question. We are certainly seeking to see a broad geographic impact across the county, but not necessarily. I mean, it doesn't have to be broad, but we want to make sure that the projects that are coming out of this, are not limited to a particular. How do I put this? That may be addressing a need in an area that is underserved, or is addressing something in a broad sense that affects all Center County residents in some way. I hope that answers that question. In addition to that, I don't think programmatically, whether you're looking at an arts focus or a human services focus or anything like that, I don't think that we have any preconceived notions that one particular concept will win out at this phase for this year.
Thank you for the insight.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I had another one. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
And it relates to your evaluation criteria and whether or not you favor organizations that may submit a proposal that has great impact but stands alone relative to that single organization, or organizations that partner with a broad group of other organizations in the county.
Yeah, I think that's a worthwhile question as well. I think traditionally Center Inspires has encouraged partnerships. We just generally think large projects like this tend to be more successful when there's sort of a strong partnership, but we certainly don't want you to try to fabricate a partnership that isn't going to work for your organization. And I don't think that we have any intention of limiting or excluding applicants solely on the basis of whether or not they have a partnership or not. But if there's a way that you can involve somebody in a meaningful partnership, that may make your proposal stronger.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question. It's Morgan. Are you thinking, and I can't remember, I mean, in the past, the projects that have been chosen have been more sustainable beyond a one and done kind of project, but is that part of it, or is it like, is part of the application going to be showing the sustainability of it to be able to fund it beyond the 100,000? Or is it okay, like, would you still consider a project that might just be something that just happens once and the full 100,000 is the amount used in the project? And I guess in addition to that, are you expecting other monies to be put into it, or is it okay if 100,000 funds the entire project? I guess that's kind of two questions.
Both very good questions, Morgan. Thank you. I don't think that to answer your second question first, I'm sorry, I've lost it now. I don't think that we're looking for a particular match of any kind. So it could be completely funded. Traditionally, some of these projects certainly did take more resources than the 100,000. The Rivet and Good Day Cafe certainly had more resources to bear to make that happen. But others were more like you described, where it was kind of a one-off. So I don't see that as exclusionary at this point. As far as your first question goes, I think generally sustainability will be something that our committee is thinking about. But again, at this phase, and organizations can submit more than one letter of intent if you are, entertaining a couple of different ideas. At this phase, you're welcome to do that. But I don't think that we'll necessarily exclude a great idea if it is just sort of like a one-time event or something like that. But generally, sustainability is something that I think our board is interested in. I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you on that one, but that's what I can say.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Any other questions on Center Inspires?
This is Chris. And I have not read the parameters of everything, but does the 100,000, does that include the hiring of staff to implement the project should it be awarded?
You think? I think so.
Yeah, we do have in the application budget breakdowns, salaries and benefits, consultation services, any overhead, miscellaneous expenses. So that is figured into the application part of it, more of a breakdown of the budget.
Thank you.
I have a question kind of piggybacking off of Morgan's question about sustainability. Within that lens, are there any other criteria that you feel like are high ranking in the Center Inspires like grant application, something that you're looking that, because obviously it is Center Inspires, you're looking for something that has impact in Center County, but is there anything within that you would say is something that, like any quality that would put someone above someone else, not in a competitive way, but just like looking at it objectively?
I really get the sense that this year, because we're bringing it back for the first time, we really don't want to be too prescriptive about what we're looking for. We kind of trust you all to come up with great ideas. So I know in our internal discussions with the committee, there's been no sense that one particular focus or one particular type of project is going to be favored in any way. But again, if I'm not trying to get everyone to submit multiple proposals for us, but if you are sort of thinking about a couple of different ideas, we encourage you to go ahead at this phase and propose them. And so the committee can make that decision at that point.
Can I ask a question? Oh, sorry.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't see who that was.
Oh, it's Mel. I have limited access.
Yep,
My
that's
internet
okay.
is kooking. So could you please explain to folks, I think I actually have a sense of this, but it might be helpful. Could you
Mm-hmm.
explain to folks about uh, fiscal sponsorship? So if there are folks here that aren't in a nonprofit, could you please
Mm-hmm.
explain like how a fiscal sponsorship would work and et cetera?
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks.
Generally, fiscal sponsorship is the idea that another qualified organization, so it would be, as we talked about, a 501c3 most commonly, or maybe a governmental agency, will sponsor your project. What we need, if that's going to happen, is an agreement, sort of like a MOU between you and the organization that's sponsoring you. At the phase of the letter of intent, I think we just start asking for the name of the fiscal sponsor. So you don't have to have that agreement developed yet at this point. But generally what those agreements involve is an understanding and a clear reckoning of any risks associated on both sides, who's responsible for what, how money will be handled, how the project will be handled if certain factors change, leadership or whatever. So, I mean, it's a fairly common practice in different areas in particular. But again, because we're kind of looking for the best ideas, we didn't want to limit anybody at this phase from making a proposal, but we do eventually will need a legal entity to enter an agreement with. And we will be happy to work with you on developing that agreement if you're invited to the next phase. We'll give you some templates and some things to think about and that kind of thing. And if anyone has any specific questions about their situation in that regard, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. We did have somebody reach out a week or so ago asking about a fiscal sponsor that's outside of Center County, and that is okay. So perhaps you can find a sponsor from another area that supports your work in a meaningful way. And as long as that entity is willing to sign such an agreement, then we would have no problem accepting that.
Good afternoon. I have a question. First of all, thank you also for this opportunity, but wanted to ask if you mentioned innovative projects. What if there's a project that, some things have been cut in funding? There's been funding cuts from various, grants or entities or federal organizations or state, etc. So what if it's kind of reintroducing something that had been popular before and loved by the community, but there was a funding cut? It's not necessarily innovative, but something that, was loved. Or maybe would there be a preference if that thing was perhaps brought back and then have some kind of, creative component to bolster interest that would make it more innovative, perhaps?
I think that's a really important question that you have. I think generally, the idea behind Center Inspires is something new that we haven't seen in the county before, but we do recognize that the folks are facing these types of situations where you are, and I think any way that maybe if you have a situation where you want to bring a program back that has been lost, if you can come up with a way to sort of reintroduce it to the community, you could certainly propose that. I don't think that it would be discounted just because it was, already an existing thing. Is that right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Krista and Nathaniel. It's Elizabeth Siegelman. I hope this isn't a silly question. I logged into the Center Foundation website and I pulled up the Center Inspires application. Are we supposed to fill out this entire application or just send you the letter of intent first? Or is this the preliminary application, the LOI?
Yes, the LOI is the preliminary application.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually, I don't think there's anywhere to make, attach any
an
files
attachment.
to the
Yeah, that's what
initial,
I
yeah.
was
So,
making
yeah,
sure.
you do need to answer our questions in
Okay.
that application, but they don't need to be very comprehensive.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Can you all hear me
All right.
okay? Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
go ahead.
So I have I have two questions, but one is with the letter of intent, how
Mhm.
how descriptive do you all need it to be? Like one, a couple paragraphs, or I don't want to go cuckoo bananas. uh, if that is too much information, I want to make sure that I'm giving you what I can, but also be mindful that, you know, I may not have all the research I need to have under my belt to,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what are you all looking for?
Well, I may ask Chris to answer to that to some extent because I know she was looking at some of the previous ones. But generally, I would say if you need to do comprehensive research, that's something that you can save for the next round. But if you feel like you know, a little research may strengthen your argument, I think that that's perfectly reasonable. As far as the length goes, I mean, we're talking what, a maximum of a couple of pages.
Yeah, it's a character count of 2,000 or less, so for each question. So, which isn't, you know, a ton of information, but it does give you enough space to really talk about what you want to do.
Okay. Um, if so, I had written earlier to just ask, like, my organization. I'm a volunteer for an organization, and I'm just going to pretend we have 100 ideas, which is not true. Uh, but we have a few, and so it sounds like it's okay to present all those ideas. But what if we have, say, 50 folks who, or 50 folks who are either need us to be a fiscal sponsor or are their own nonprofit but want to incorporate us in their proposal? Uh, what happens moving forward? For example, meaning, uh, are the organization I represent, are we excluded if to move forward if you all like the proposal XYZ is putting forward and we're their fiscal sponsor? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly confident that we're probably only going to invite one application per organization as the lead applicant through to the second phase. So at some point, an organization like yours where you have so many great ideas, it's probably in your best interest to not submit them all. But
Well, I was being a
yeah,
little,
sure.
I think what my question is, say my organization has, I don't know, two ideas,
Hmm.
but you all, you know, this is all about working together as a community.
Yeah.
So are we, as a representative of my organization, if another nonprofit wants to work with us, does
Hmm.
that then exclude us from moving forward? Does that make sense?
No, I don't think so. If you're listed as a partner on an application
Yeah.
where another organization's taking the lead, that will only strengthen that application, but it won't influence any other applications that you may have submitted under your organization's name.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. There's not a question in the chat. do you know how many applications will go on to the second phase? I don't know if we have a firm number.
No, I don't think we have set a firm number, so.
Yeah, that'll largely be up to our grants committee, which is made up of members of our board primarily, to make that determination. But yeah, I don't have a firm answer for you for that one. I'm sorry. Anything else? I think these are all great questions. I will certainly be collecting these as sort of an FAQ that we can share with folks as well. And of course, if you have any others that come up after this, Krista and I are both more than happy to field your questions via email. That said, we do have more to cover today about our other granting opportunities. So we hope that you can stay on. I know we have a few more granting opportunities this year that we want to make sure folks know about. So if you can, please stay on.
Oh, can I ask one last question?
Yes, sure.
Sorry. Is there, what is the best way for, I think I would guess possibly that some of us may have ideas that are similar or we could help each other in moving forward. Is there a good way to connect with each other to make that happen? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea, and that's kind of right up the alley of the kinds of things that we want to facilitate. I don't like to rely on large social media platforms, but at the same time, we do have a Center County nonprofit Facebook group that Center Foundation administers. That might be a good place to start that kind of conversation. We don't really have a lot of other infrastructure in place at the moment for that, but I think it's a great idea and something that we might want to think about for next year at the very least.
So I'm just going to throw this out there that I've been in and around this grant for a while. And one of the wonderful things was back in the olden days, we had the New Leaf, I think it was New Leaf. I'm bad with names. Organization downtown. And so folks came together and met each other and worked, and it was a wonderful place to just meet each other and say, oh, wow, I have the same idea and I want to work with you. So I'm throwing that out there to you all as to think through, because this is an awesome opportunity for all of us to work together. And we might not be aware of each other, etc. So just mentioning.
Absolutely, and just so you know, Melissa, it is something that we're very much aware of is the need for these kinds of networking opportunities among the nonprofits, and it's something that we are looking to address as early as this year. The Center Nonprofit Strength Initiative is part of that, but we'll also be doing some more events. So stay tuned. I think we'll soon be announcing an event that might be ideal for this kind of thing for later this summer. So I think there are more options. That'll probably be after the letter of intent phase, unfortunately. So it might be something we have to build towards for next year. But I think it is a great idea. So thank you. Okay, we will move on now to the next phase. I'll hand things back over to Krista.
Okay, thanks, Nathaniel. Let's see, our next granting opportunity is our Giving Circle. For those of you that aren't familiar with our Giving Circle, it's anyone can become a Giving Circle member. They pay a annual or monthly membership fee. They pool all their money together. We have a small endowment, but money is pulled together from this membership fee. We open up a grant application, and the Giving Circle members review the applications. They make their recommendations and who are their favorites. It's a fun opportunity. They are usually interested in very innovative, creative ideas too. Once they vote over the applications, we take the top three, and those three finalists present at our annual Giving Circle celebration in October. So, and then the Giving Circle members are all invited. They vote right then and there who they would like to award. So it really is a fun event. It's neat to get more community members involved in the whole process. The Giving Circle grant application opens July 7th and it closes August 20th. Let's see, we can go one more. If you're interested in becoming a Giving Circle member, please reach out to Carrie Tolton, our development director. She can help you set up a membership. The application is open to 501c3 nonprofit organizations serving Center County. This one usually awards all three organizations that make it to the final round receive some type of grant in October. First usually receives 10,000 plus, and then we have 2 runner-up grants. So it's a nice event that everyone at least walks out with some type of funding for their project. And then one more, some of the past ones that we've given to. Last year, Center Lifelink received, I believe it was $14,000 to equip their new ambulance. Sleep in Heavenly Peace, which is a new organization to this area. They provide beds for children that do not have beds. I believe they received $6,000 or $8,000. And then Center Volunteers of Medicine also received a grant for their expansion of their lab test work. One thing to mention with the Giving Circle is if you are a finalist, you have to wait 2 years before you can apply again. That's just to keep more open to different orgs applying and keep the field competitive. Okay, so
what's the cost to participate in that?
To become a member,
Yeah.
you can become a member for $250.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. We have different membership levels. The basic is $250, and I believe we have one that goes up to $1,000. So Carrie Tolton can explain that a little bit more. It has to do with voting. The $250 level, you get 1 vote. The $1,000 level, I believe you get 1 vote and a family member who gets a vote. And then the bonus grant, they get to vote for that too. So it really is, I think it's probably our funnest event that we have. So
Very fun.
yeah. Okay. The next one we have that will be opening, I believe in August, is our Field of Interest grants. So our Field of Interest, these are our endowment funds that donors set up that are interested in supporting a particular cause or geographic area or a certain service. They don't really have a certain organization they want to fund particularly, but they just have a broad interest in a certain area. Currently, we have 26 Field of Interest funds. Last year, we were able to award over 180,000 in Field of Interest to 40 nonprofits. This year, I believe our Field of Interest is going to be over $200,000 that is available through these 26 different funds. So the Field of Interest grants will open on August 4th and close September 24th. The deadline to receive any feedback on your application from Center Foundation staff is September 10th. This is open to 501c3 nonprofits, government agencies, and also unincorporated groups may apply through a 501c3 fiscal sponsor. And this is another nice one that you can submit more than one application if you have several things you need funding for, several different projects. You can certainly submit more than one application. So some of the Field of Interest funds will overlap, so you're encouraged to apply to as many of the different funds that are relative to your project. So next I'm going to go into the different categories we have. These are all of our funds for the Health and Human Services. This tends to be our biggest category, and we actually have 3 new ones for this year. The Connor Gregano Family Fund, it's for programs that provide services in the areas of healthcare and early childhood education. The Recovery Support Fund is for programs that focus on research, education, or treatment of substance abuse disorders. And the State College Elks Lodge 1600 Veterans Program Fund is for services and programs that support veterans in Center County and surrounding counties. The next category that we have is our children and youth categories, which we also do have a new one for this. The State College Elks also opened up another fund this year, which is their Youth Activities Fund. And this is for services and programs that support youth activities in Center County. Okay. After that, we have our arts and culture and animal funds, which tend to be a little bit smaller, but there's still great amounts to be awarded each year. And then our last categories that we have is our geographic focus and general purpose. Our geographic focus, we have funds that are set up just for projects in Phillipsburg, Penns Valley, Howard. We have one for Penns Valley churches. And our general purpose one that we have is our Ben Franklin Fund, which is for programs and projects in Center, Clearfield, Huntington, and Mifflin counties. And the thing to know about this is this fund was actually created through Ben Franklin's estate. In his will, Ben Franklin left $2,000 to the city of Philadelphia and $2,000 to the city of Boston, with the direction that it could not be drawn on for 100 years. It could not be distributed for 200 years. The funds were invested, and after the first 100 years, the funds began making personal loans to the citizens of Philadelphia. After 200 years up, the state of Pennsylvania directed the money to be split between most of the community foundations in the state of Pennsylvania. So I thought that's kind of neat that we have a little bit of funding left over from Ben Franklin's estate. So when you get to the application, you'll also see which funds to click on, the amounts available that are to grant from that fund, so you'll have a better idea when you're applying for the field of interest, what you can ask for. Our next one is our Equitable and Inclusive Communities Fund. This application will open September 29th and close November 12th. The deadline to receive staff feedback is October 29th. This is also open to 501c3s, government agencies, and unincorporated groups can also apply through a fiscal sponsor. This will be the third year for the Equitable Inclusive Communities Fund. It was established in 2024, and it's designed to support the advancement of equity-centered leadership and capacity building and address issues of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging in Center County. For last year, this tends to be a little smaller fund. I think this year, a little under 3,000 is available to grant, so it tends to be smaller projects. Last year, we awarded 3 recipients. So Center LGBT Plus for their Pride Mind program. Mid-State Literacy Council, they receive funding to support their cross-cultural communication and connection. And Go Reentry Specialists receive funding for their reentry strategy group for incarcerated individuals.
Cool.
Okay. And our last available competitive grant for the year will be our Center PACT grants. Center PACT stands for Philanthropic Actions Created by Teens. It's a program that Nathaniel and I both run for Center County high school students. So any Center County high school student can join Center PACT. We meet once a month during the school year. The students learn about philanthropy. They learn how to fundraise. They decide what issues they want to focus on as how it relates to children and teens in Center County. And they review the grant applications and make their grant selections. So it's a really fun program. It's neat to see them all work together and decide how they want to split up the money. They have lots of great ideas. Since 2016, we've granted over 77,000. If you know any students that might be interested in becoming a Center PACT member, we usually open applications for that in September. So just reach out to Nathaniel and I, and we can help with that. The application for the Center PACT grant will open on November 24th and will close on January 7th of next year. This is just open to 501c3 nonprofits. This tends to be a little bit smaller grants too, which usually between 500 and 3,000. Last year, I believe we gave over $14,000 out to 8 different organizations. So it's a really fun event. At the end, we have a grant ceremony where the students present big checks to all the organizations that receive a grant. And then in the following fall, we ask those organizations just to come back to one of our Center PACT meetings and give a little update on how the granting went and any pictures that they want to share and talk to the kids about their project that they funded. Okay. Just mention real quick, we also do scholarships for individuals. Most of our scholarships are for high school students in Center County. We have some that are outside of Center County, but those usually open up in the fall. Last year we granted over $450,000. I think this year it'll be close to $500,000 in scholarships. But we also have opportunities for adult learners that are returning to school, and another one that we have is a great opportunity is for first responders. It's our Center County Emergency Responder Scholarship, which was established by the county commissioners just to try and get any first responders that need additional training. We will help pay for that. So if you have any questions or anyone wants any further information about our different scholarships, please reach out to me and I can help you with that. And just some other ways that you can partner with Center Foundation is we do have endowment funds. So organizations and individuals can set up an endowment. Carrie Tolton is our development and stewardship director. She can certainly help with any questions, but the endowments provide consistent long-term funding for your organization. We manage the funding, we invest it so it will continually grow. Most funds, all funds, we need $10,000 before we can start generating the spend, but we do offer step-up funds where you can pay a certain amount each year until you reach that $10,000. And then we also offer, which Nathaniel brought up today, that we have spendable funds too. If an organization already has an endowment, they might want to open up a spendable fund where they have access to more than just the yearly spend. So that's something we can also help your organizations with. Okay. So here's just our contact information. If you have any other questions, you can certainly reach out to us. Does anybody have any other questions about the other granting opportunities?
If not, we thank you all for your time. And if any questions do arise, like we said, please do reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer or meet with you. Something came in the chat, one moment. Just some thank yous. Yeah. Thank you too. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing your grant applications in the year ahead.
Thank you.